This is the Five Nights at Freddy's timeline. We will be taking this timeline game by game. We will ignore every game that comes after the game that we are focusing on. However, we will allow any game that came previously to the game that we are looking at, as well as any important game-related plot points from the books. Now, on to the timeline of Five Nights at Freddy's virtual reality and augmented reality. Not too long after William goes to hell, Freddy Fazbear's reorganizes its company and devised a plan to win back the hearts of its customers. We learned from Tape Girl that the company secretly hired an indie game developer to purposely make video games against Fazbear Entertainment.
Fazbear Entertainment hired the game developer. Those indie games were designed to conceal and make light of what happened. This isn't just an attempt to rebrand. It's an elaborate cover-up, a campaign to discredit everything.
The idea was for those indie games to tell wild stories about the company's past, and Fazbear Entertainment would publicly discredit those games, effectively convincing the public that nothing bad did happen. That was the plan. A way to discredit all of the horrible events that happened. Fazbear Entertainment chose to make a game of their own called Fazbear's Virtual Reality Experience. Their game would publicly discredit the indie games. Fazbear Entertainment also made it seem like the indie game developer was in legal trouble against the company.
We know that Fazbear Entertainment has developed something of a bad reputation over the last few decades, and while it's true that some stories associated with our name were loosely based on actual events, the majority of them were total fabrications from the mind of a complete lunatic. Lawsuits pending.
After this public announcement, Fazbear Entertainment told the developer to lay low, that their lie had worked, and the company assembled together a team of alpha testers for the VR game. The company gave the team circuit boards and photographs to be scanned into the game's code.
I mean, they sent us that stuff in the first place with no explanation, told us to scan it, said it would expedite the process so we wouldn't need to program any pathfinding ourselves. It was a budget thing, I guess. It was just junk. Circuit boards and things like that. Looked pretty old. Somehow, though, there was usable code on some of it. It seemed to take hold by itself.
This would allow the game to be built a lot more easily. However, the company sent a circuit board that came from the Spring Bonnie suit, and that circuit board's code went into the game. Now, as we know, William had originally died in the Spring Bonnie robot suit. I believe that his soul became linked to the circuit board inside of that suit. William eventually climbed out of the original Spring Bonnie suit and put on a different suit in Pizzeria Simulator. From that point, William was burned in his new suit. However, the original suit survived off somewhere else. William then went to hell. However, Cassidy eventually lets William go. Since William's soul is still linked to the circuit boards, William turns up in the video game once his circuit board was scanned into it. And thus, William became Glitch Trap. The alpha tester Jeremy starts to notice Glitch Trap in the game. Jeremy then tries to warn everyone about the anomaly within the game, and that leads the higher-ups to try and fire Jeremy for what he saw, wanting to discredit Jeremy.
You can always tell when a company is getting ready to fire someone. They start giving out written warnings for silly things, making sure to build a paper trail and make a case for a firing. Things that normally no one would care about suddenly become grave offenses, all worthy of being written and documented. I guess it works two ways, because it also encourages a person to quit rather than be scrutinized so heavily. I think Jeremy was too far gone to consider that option, though. The thing about it is that I don't think they were going to fire him because of anything he was doing wrong. They just knew he'd seen something. They needed to discredit him.
Several days go by and Jeremy has not stopped talking about the anomaly. He's starting to go crazy. However, no one is listening to him. The manager, Dale, started to prepare the Tape Girl to test the game. This was so Tape Girl could replace Jeremy soon.
I knew I was in line to do the testing next. They'd been prepping me for it. I guess they knew that Jeremy would need to be replaced soon.
The next morning, Tape Girl comes in early for her job, only to find that Jeremy had used the guillotine paper slicer to cut off his face.
I came in early that morning. No one else was there. At least that's what I thought. The supply room was lit. I didn't even notice Jeremy standing in the testing room as I walked past. The supply room was so bright, glowing from all the way down the hall. Have you ever heard of a guillotine paper slicer? It sounds made up, but it's an actual piece of office equipment. I didn't even know we had one in the supply room. Jeremy used to do design work. I guess that's how he knew it was there. There was something that looked like a Halloween mask laying on the floor. I didn't understand. Ink must have spilled. It was only then that I heard a shuffle from the testing room and realized Jeremy must be there. I went back and peered in the window. I couldn't see his face. He had the visor covering his head. He had ink spilled on himself as well. The front of his shirt looked black in the dark room. He turned his head in my direction, but I don't think he knew I was there.
Because of this incident, the project that the alpha testers are working on has become in trouble. Plus, there has been a lawsuit.
I heard a pretty heated conversation this morning between Dale, our manager, and someone else on the line. It really feels like this project is in trouble, in no small part because of the lawsuit, I'm sure. There has to be a lawsuit, there's no way there isn't. It happened in this building just a few doors down from me. I think it's made worse by the fact that Jeremy tried to tell us something was wrong. But as a dev team, we all just saw it as a challenge to find what the problem was and fix it. Who could have known that? I have to go.
Fazbear Entertainment decided to turn over the project to another development studio. Now Tape Girl has only 3 days to document information about Glitch Trap, devise a way for the next tester to kill it, and contain Glitch Trap for now. Tape Girl starts to make tapes in order to guide the next tester, the beta tester. And Tape Girl makes a switch that is supposed to kill Glitch Trap. However, she has ran out of time and can't test the switch herself. So she leaves the switch for the beta tester to try. During her last day of testing, Tape Girl finds out that Glitch Trap has attached himself to her tapes. She then tries to delete the tapes, but finds out she is unable to delete them. So she scrambles all the tapes and scatters them around the game, effectively breaking apart William and locking him behind a virtual door. The project then goes on to the next development team. The beta testers now are in control over the game. Vanny, the character we play as, puts all of the tapes together out of curiosity, which puts William back together. However, William is not fully free. Vanny tries to use the kill switch, but it inadvertently releases Glitch Trap from the door. And now William's voice has influence over Vanny.
Yes, I hear you. I know. No. There's no miscommunication. I understand. Yes, I have it. I made it myself. I think you would like it. No one suspects anything. Don't worry. I'll be ready. And I won't let you down. It will be fun.
This is a side note. I understand that this Princess Quest minigame is from the alpha version of the VR game. Some people might say that the princess is Tape Girl. However, I would argue that it doesn't matter what version this minigame is from. Freddy minigames can take place in one game despite them representing another game. Take these flashback sequences of the first Freddy's location that are from the second game as an example. This minigame could also represent the beta tester, Vanny, putting the tapes back together to free Glitch Trap. That would explain why Glitch Trap is locked behind the door. Tape Girl locked away Glitch Trap by scattering the tapes. So this minigame represents the new girl Vanny, reorganizing the tapes, thereby freeing Glitch Trap. Understand? Great, now back to the timeline. In the augmented reality game, we see emails that suggest Vanny is under either the control or the influence of William. Vanny often searches online for things that sets off a lot of alarms. And all of this will build up to the next game, where Vanny attempts to become the new villain. And that is the end of the virtual reality timeline. Next, we will look at what security breach adds to the timeline. Whenever it releases,